Alright, Genesis chapter 32 talks about Jacob fears Esau. It says Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's camp." So he called the name of that place Mahan. I'm trying to say this word right. Mahanam. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother in the land of Seir, the country of Edom, which is Jordan today, instructing them, thus you shall say to my lord Esau, thus says your servant Jacob, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed until now. I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, male servants and female servants. I have sent to tell my lord in order that I may find favor in your sight. And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to your brother Esau, and he is coming to meet you, and there are 400 men with him. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed. He divided the people who were with him into flocks and herds and camels into two camps, thinking, if Esau comes to the one camp and attacks it, then the camp that is left will escape. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, O Lord, who said to me, return to your country and to your kindred, that I may do you good. So he's praying to God, for help. He's praying to Christ. I am not worthy of the least of all the deeds of steadfast love and all the faithfulness that ye have shown to your servant. For with only my staff I crossed this Jordan, which is the Jordan River. And now I have become two camps. Please deliver me from the land, please deliver me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, that he may come and attack me, the mothers, with the children. But you said, I will surely do you good and make your offspring as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered and for multitude. So he stayed there that night, and from what he had with him, he took a present for his brother Esau: 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 milking camels and their cows, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. These he handed over to his servants, every drove by itself, and said to his servants, pass on ahead of me and put a space between drove and drove. And basically saying, put a space between me and you. He started the first, when Esau my brother meets you and asks you, to whom do you belong, where are you going, and whose are these ahead of you? Then you shall say, they belong to your servant Jacob. They are a present sent to my lord Esau. And moreover, he is behind us. He likewise instructed the second and third, and all who followed the droves. You shall say the same thing to Esau when you find him. And you shall say, moreover, your servant Jacob is behind us. For he thought, I may appease him with the present that goes ahead of me, and afterward I shall see his face. Perhaps he will accept me. So the present passed on ahead of him, and he himself stayed that night in the camp. Jacob wrestles with God. The same night he arose and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. The Jabbok River is in Jordan today. He took them and sent them across the stream and everything else that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day, until sunrise. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched his hip socket, pretty much broke his hip, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint. So as he wrestled with him, then he said, let me go, for the day has broken. And Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. Then he said, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God, or that you have basically wrestled with God and with the men, and have prevailed. Then Jacob asked him, please tell me your name. But he said, why is it that you ask my name? And there he blessed him. So Jacob called the name of that place Peniel, saying, for I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been delivered. The sun rose upon him as he passed Peniel, limping because of his hip. He had a broken hip, pretty much, because he wrestled with God, and God broke his hip, put his hip out of socket. It says, therefore to this day the people of Israel do not eat the sinew, but the thigh that is on the hip socket. It's very interesting that people of Israel today, the Jews, still to this day they do not eat the sinew of the thigh that is on the hip socket, because it reminds them of Jacob, of when God wrestled Jacob. So that's when they don't eat meat off the hip socket, because he touched the socket of Jacob's hip on the sinew of the thigh. So of course the Jews, in a way, consider the thigh of an animal. Whenever they're eating, of course, they consider a thigh of an animal holy because God touched Jacob's hip, and you know, touched his hip and put it out of the socket. So it's pretty interesting. They have a map here. It says Jacob returns to Canaan, which is Israel today. It says that was 1976 to 1810 BC. After acquiring wealth in Padam Aram, Jacob returned to Canaan. He came to Mahanaim, where he sent his household ahead of him, and crossed the Jabbok alone, which is over in Jordan today. There he wrestled with a mysterious man, whose God, of course, Jesus Christ, until morning, and named the place Peniel, also called Penuel. Jacob then encountered his brother Esau, who had come from Edom or from Jordan to meet him. After the two were reconciled, or after they had met, Esau returned to Edom or Jordan, while Jacob journeyed to Canaan or Israel. Now, let's see, they have a map here. They have the Mediterranean Sea, the Sea of Galilee, the Jordan River, the Dead Sea, the Jabbok River. You have Edom, which is, of course, Jordan today. Canaan, which is Israel. You have Hazor, Bethshem, Gilead is over in Jordan, Dothan, Megiddo, Joppa, Jericho, Bethel, Salem, which is Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Mamre, Hebron, Adullam, Timnah, Gerar, Beersheba. And of course, when you zoom in, you also have Sukala, Peniel, and Mahanaim. When you zoom in, of course, on Sukkoth, Peniel, and Mahanaim, you of course have the Jabbok River, which is where Sukkoth, Peniel, and Mahanaim is today, which is in Jordan. You have the altar built by Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob. That was in Beersheba, Hebron. And that was also in in Shechem. I'm trying to look at it all. That was that and that. That was the altars that Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob had built to God. And Jacob's return from Pada Haram, and that was all the way from pretty much Iraq all the way to Israel. It's a very long journey. Esau's pursuit of Jacob. That was, of course, Esau came from Jordan from the south and met Jacob along the Jordan River, and then they met, and they reconciled, and then Esau stayed in Jordan, and Jacob went across the river, across the Jordan River into Israel. So then that's pretty much that. In a way, Esau is the home of Jordan, pretty much. He is. I mean, yeah, in a way, he is the. Esau is, of course, he is Jordan. I mean, in a way, he is because he's the one who pretty much lived on that side of the Jordan River, which is Jordan today. So in a way, Jordan came from Esau, if you can see that. And of course, Jacob was renamed Israel. It's pretty interesting. Jordan came out of Esau, and Israel came out of Jacob. So that's pretty interesting. But anyway, here's the map here. If you can see all this, that's what it looked like. I mean, it's pretty cool. Of course, you have Israel there, Jordan, and all that. So that's where they met up at, right there. So anyway, that is chapter 32. 33 is next. So you're right back.